Hello, everyone. Welcome to our brand new podcast. It's called Blue Collar Hockey Talk. It's a podcast about the Leafs and the NHL by Leaf fans for Leaf fans. My name is Wes, and I'm joined today with my friend Scott. We're going to go through all things Leafs and a little bit of previewing the upcoming season. Well, the season that just started. So, how are you doing tonight, Scott?
Yeah, I'm doing well, buddy. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. As good as we can be in this weird world we're in right now.
That's it, man. Yeah, no, I'm just glad that we got some hockey back in us here. So it's pretty fun. I mean, it's going to be a busy schedule for the Leafs, but you know what? Welcomed distraction and entertainment.
Nah, exactly. So, you know what? Let's start off with maybe like our favorite or most memorable like Leaf moment. Mine was December 4th, 2018, in Buffalo. I was there, and it was when Austin Matthews scored with less than 3 seconds left, and the place erupted. And I don't know if anyone that's been to Buffalo for a Leaf game, it's more Leaf fans than Buffalo fans. It's awesome. I recommend it to anyone. How about you, Scott?
You know, I kind of bounce back and forth between a few memories, and the one that kind of comes to me right now, it's got to be the most memorable game that I've ever seen when it was called the Air Canada Centre. It was Game 7, Toronto against Ottawa. The game was in Ottawa, so the building at the ACC was full, and they were showing the game up on the screen in the middle, right? So it was amazing because you went with a canned good, purely fans, and I remember when Robert scored the game winner, and the whole crowd didn't just go nuts for a few minutes. So I mean, we walked straight down the aisle and into the hallway, and my dad pulled me off to the side, and he just said, "You got to take a moment and appreciate this." And everybody was just chanting, "Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go!" I'm talking 20,000 strong exiting this arena. It was the loudest I've ever heard a Leaf stadium because there was all fans. It was amazing.
That sounds pretty awesome, man. Wouldn't it be awesome if like the Leafs were able to win another playoff series like that? It's been a long time. Well, like as anyone knows who's listening to this, the season has already started, and we already have a Leaf game to review. It was the season opener against the Montreal Canadiens, and the final score was 5-4 Leafs in overtime, with my man Morgan Riley scoring the goal. What'd you take out of the game?
To be honest, I might have an argument now why I understand exhibition games are important. I have a whole new understanding as to why, because it's pretty interesting to watch two teams. I mean, the Leafs were no exception. Both teams on the ice working new systems, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work on the fly. And I thought that it was pretty interesting to watch. It was really fun to see a different approach by the Leafs this year when we're down 3-1. We didn't have to wait 25 games for a major. Not that I'm a big fan of fighting, but I mean, I can't argue against. It was 3-1 when Simmons dropped the gloves. And it was 3-3 at the end of the second. So no, it was pretty fun to watch. I mean, overall, it was great to have hockey back. And if that's game 1 of 10, it's going to get nothing but more intense and better.
Yeah, that definitely was a pretty intense game, but I agree with you with the exhibition games. Like one or two would have been nice, man, because you could just see everyone was like a step behind. It was a little sloppy on both teams, but hey, like what are we gonna do, right? Like we'll take what we can get. How about we talk some Leafs? We got lots of new additions to the team this year. Let's go through a couple of the big ones. Let's start with maybe Wayne Simmons. What do you think?
You know, I mean, I'm pretty excited to see Simmons on the team. You know, Jeff had said the other day when we were talking to him, and guys, you're gonna get to meet Jeff. Jeff's gonna be on this show quite a bit. He's a pretty rock star kind of guy. But you know, when we were talking about Simmons, it's great to see him come to the team. Like you've got a guy that wants to be here. He understands why he's here. There's no illusions here. Like it's solid. He's here to be a character guy on this team. It would be nice to have seen us keep Kyle Clifford because it does kind of feel like it maybe is a one in, one out. So we can sit here and say that we're tougher tonight. I'll get into that later. It may be into a counter argument of that, but I'm happy to see Simmons. I think he's going to have some solid minutes, and yeah, it's wicked to see a Scarborough boy wanting to play in Toronto, and it makes it even better knowing they turned down more money from Montreal It just makes him more blue and white to me, man.
Yeah, I think he's a really good addition. I think you're absolutely right. He brings more skill than Kyle Clifford did. I think he makes him a little more versatile. Let's move on to how about Jimmy Vesey, the guy who scored the other night. So far so good for him, eh?
You know what? I think that this has been what was supposed to happen a few years ago. So, I mean, I hope that it's a bit of a reset for Jimmy Vesey because, I mean, he was undrafted coming out of Harvard, right? And the Leafs went after him hard then. I mean, we drafted his brother. We signed his father into our scouting department. It's been something the Leafs have wanted for a while. So, I mean, he went through his time in New York with the Rangers, with a few pretty poor teams. And then he went and played in Buffalo. And I mean, you just have to look at a few Jack Eichel quotes to know that probably wasn't that great either. So, I mean, he's coming to Toronto. He's going to get some serious time. He's going to have some pretty wicked line mates. I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to do. I think that my goal, let's see some solid third line minutes. I know the first game he was top 6. I think he'll be bouncing back and forth between the second and the third line. And I think that's great. I hope it's productive minutes that he's on the ice. And I think it will. I think he'll hustle his tush off, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think Jimmy Vesey is going to be one of the number of players that we've had over the past few years, like Tyler Ennis a few years ago, where it's like a guy comes here to have a good year and then sign somewhere else for more money because the Leafs won't. If he has a good year, the Leafs won't be able to re-sign him again, right? And like it's just the way that the Leafs are, so they're gonna have to keep finding guys like him. How about Joe Thornton, Jumbo Joe, man? Can you believe he's a Leaf now?
Joe Thornton. I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, it's pretty wild. I mean, I just even watching the game, seeing a guy with a big beard coming in the corners, you know, it was pretty cool. I mean, I know he's 41. Let's keep the expectations down, but you know what? Let's keep the expectations attached to a $700,000 contract. You know, yeah, he got first line minutes in the first game, but he also had 17 minutes ice time compared to 24 and 25 minutes for Marner and Matthews, who are his line mates. So, I mean, I know there's PK minutes there as well. Let's see where he ends up on the lineup, but I think that his role on the team, character, the voice that he has, John Tavares, I love him as a captain, but he's very serious, right? He's very much business-like, very professional, where Joe Thornton brings that other side of a captain. Not that he's a captain in that room, but don't kid yourself. He's going to be viewed with an utmost of respect. So, you know, the role is still very important. I'm pretty happy to see it in the locker room. I'm pretty excited to see the passes going over to Marner's stick onto Matthew's stick. Who do we cover? What's going to happen? We've got 2 playmakers. All of them can shoot. You know, it could be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it has the possibility of being really amazing with him, and I think he's going to be played very situationally. What happened last game is he didn't start in the defensive zone. He was starting in the offensive zone a lot, which, you know what, that's smart coaching, and they should keep doing it like that because he's not here to be a defensive stalwart, right? He wants to score goals and he wants to win. That's why he's here. How about we move to the blue line? Zach Bogosian coming off the Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning. What do you think he's going to bring this year to the Leafs?
Well, he brings Stanley Cup on his resume. So, I mean, he's got playoff wins. He knows how to get through round 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that being a 56-game season, I think we've got a number of defensemen that are going to play. We see 6 on the lineup card on game 1, but you're going to see 8 or 9 different defensemen that have played by game 20, you know, maybe more. So I'm excited to see what Bogosian brings because he's going to have a rugged side to him. We're going to be able to have a shutdown pairing, you know. I'm excited to see that kind of thing, you know, a guy that's going to go into the corners and come out with the puck. The other team's not going to dump it in and come out with it all the time, you know, and he'll know what to do with it. Calm, you know, it's nice to see that experience come to the back end and to get it at the kind of a contract that Dubas did. I feel like it's another guy that wants to be here, you know, that's not we didn't pay a guy, we didn't lure him here, you know, I feel like he wanted to be here. We wanted him here. There was a fit for both sides. I'm excited for it. I think it's a good pickup, man.
And the last guy I really want to talk about is TJ Brody. I think it's the biggest and most important signing of the offseason for the Leafs. And man, I really hope he has chemistry with Morgan Riley, because the Leafs really need to find Riley a good partner.
I should have said this maybe in our initial talk of it, but I'm glad I didn't, because I'll say it now. Morgan Riley looked at ease on the ice, more so than I've seen him in a long time, and that was in game one. So if that's game one, I feel like it's awesome to finally see him with a playing partner that he's not trying to pick up. He's not making a guy a number two just by playing with him. He has a true top pairing defenseman playing with him, and that's not saying anything against like Muzzin or anything, but Muzzin should be the next pairing. Like that's just how it should roll out over the boards, and I don't know, like it opens up a lot of different avenues up the ice. TJ Brody's going to put it on the stick of our talent. There's not going to be any Zaitsevs flip it off the boards where everybody knows what's going to happen, and I mean, hey, Zaitsev had a great first few months. But anyways, whatever. Yeah, TJ Brody, you're right. Biggest signing of the year. We need to be able to say at the end of the year that was what worked out, because that's the one that needs to. All the other ones are going to be gravy, but TJ Brody working out means that the top pairing was solid, and we have a potential. And watching that first game with no exhibition, no time to try to build chemistry, to watch that instant chemistry that was there, I could honestly say that we could have a top pairing in the league wide, to talk about here.
Yeah, man, I really hope you're right with that. It would be awesome if they can like gel that well, that they're a definite 1-2, one of the best pairings in the league. Well, those were all the guys that were added to the Leafs. Are you going to miss anyone that left? Like Barry's gone, Clifford's gone, Gautier's gone, Kapanen's gone. Like those are some big names that walked out the door.
For sure, what I mean. Like if we start off with, like, let's say Kapanen and Janssen. Okay, I mean, like, I'm going to talk about them because that was one of those situations where we had serious holes on the back end and in the strength department of our team. We were puck possession, not just focused, but like obsessed that that's what we were going to do, not thinking about what happens when we actually don't have that puck. Like, you gotta go get it. So to see those guys go off the team, they were expendable pieces. I'm going to miss Kapanen more than Janssen, but I'll leave that one alone for right now. And our other boys that left the team. Give me a little refresher there, Wes.
So there was Clifford's gone, Barry, and Gauthier.
Thanks. So, I mean, with the other guys that are on the team that took off there, like Gauthier, he was the softest big player that I'd seen walk on the ice. So I'm not gonna cry over that. Like, we take a look what is on the ice in place. I'll take it. You've got Clifford. I would have liked to have seen him stay. I really do think that we are a little shy on the physicality department, and game one was no exception. And when I go over the stats in a little bit here, guys, we'll see what I mean. Like, the hits are they're unreal. Like, I don't understand it. Like, Kyle Clifford, that kind of a player, yeah, I'll miss that because we do need more of that. But it is what it is at this point. We have players on our taxi squad that might be able to move in and out and shuffle things up. But nonetheless, the first game, we were pretty soft again. We're lucky to come out with the 2 points. I'm happy we did. But when we dive deeper into the hits, I don't know. You know what? Good luck to Tyson Barrie. Sorry, buddy. I struggled thinking of the name there, but you know what? It was a year, and I hope you do really well.
No, I think out of all those guys, I'm going to miss Kapanen the most. He was a big game player, man. He played well under pressure. He helped the Leafs get into the playoffs that very first year with Matthews and Marner, and then he scored that big double overtime winner against Washington. But you know what? At the same time, that goes to show there hasn't been much success if I'm referring to that many years ago for awesome moments. So maybe it was time for a few guys to go. How do you think the Leafs will do this season? Like, where do you think they're going to finish in the division?
All right, listen. I think the Leafs are going to do great this year, but I think that we're going to have to make some serious looks at how we're approaching the games. And I mean, Keefe, I like him as a coach so far, but really I say that with not a lot of evidence to support it. He's not an experienced coach yet, and we're going to see how a 56 game season takes place, where he has to get players ready to go on the fly, compared to other coaches like Tortorella, like Julian's. Like these guys might have a little bit more ability because they've coached on bigger stages too. So they've taken teams that have to make instant chemistry and done it before. So we'll see where that goes. But I mean, when I look at, if you don't mind me going on a little bit here about the hits, like we're soft, man. And I hope that it doesn't stay this way, but we're soft. And I mean, I'm going to go over the games from last night, or the first game of the season for these teams. You've got Chicago and Tampa Bay. Winning teams, Tampa. The hits, Tampa Bay 16, Chicago 14. All right. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins 6-3. They had out-hit Pittsburgh 31-23. St. Louis and Colorado. This is the only one that was the other way, that actually went like this and was close, other than the Leafs. St. Louis won 4-1, but the hits were 21-20 for Colorado. It's virtually even, okay? Like we're off by a hit. Then Montreal, Toronto. Toronto, we're out hit 32-14. It's not even close. So I don't know. That's not a fluke. All the other games were won by the team that took it to the other team. Now we do have the talent, and I mean we've relied on it for years. I hope that the games are a little bit closer and along the boards.
That's a pretty good point, man. Like, hopefully the Leafs can play the body a bit more. But so where do you think they're going to end up, though? Like, do you think they're going to – a lot of pundits have them finishing first overall in the division, and I think that's pretty lofty. And, like, as a Leaf fan, I don't trust them to finish first.
You know what? If there's ever a group of teams that I want to play against that I feel like we could play soft, I don't want to play soft all year. They got to play tougher. They do, because it will come back to bite them in the ass, and we all know it. But I honestly think they'll be fighting for the top of this division, man. Like, I really, truly do. And I know I just pointed out how they're the softest team in the division. I'm not talking about the divisional teams in those games. Like we're talking about teams that we're not going to be playing against. But that doesn't matter. You still got to show up to get the buck. I think they'll come out top on the division, man. I think you're going to see a pretty solid close race for the top two spots in the conference, and I think you're going to see a dogfight for those 3 and 4 spots. It'll be pretty fun.
I hope it ends up being really fun, man. I think this division has 6 playoff teams, legit playoff teams in it, and they're not all going to make it, clearly, and it's going to be disappointing for 2 of the teams. And I don't think the Leafs are hands down better than 5 of them. But that's just me. What do you think of the Leafs overall? What would be a successful season? What do they have to do?
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, when we're talking about almost, we're talking generation, man, between playoff round wins. You have to get through the first round. I'm not even that big on saying, hey, we got to win the division. I'm not. I don't really. I mean, I would love to. Getting home ice would be unbelievable. But really, my actual tick the box has to happen. Got to get through the first round. But that doesn't make it a full success. I honestly think that we should win the division in that second round and try to get into that Final Four. And if we could start playing the teams on the other side, that to me is a successful season. And I wouldn't be shocked to hear anybody, including myself, say that they can make it into that finals. I'd love to say they'll hold the cup up. I won't go that far right now.
Yeah, I definitely think for it to be considered successful, they have to make it to the Final Four, man. It's, they have all the talent. They spent all their money. They just got to get there to be successful, or else they're just going to be ripped apart again. And it's just going to be disappointing again. They could go 56-0 this season. If they lose in the second round of the playoffs, people won't be happy.
No, I mean, in all fairness, and I don't like talking long-term down the road, and I'll make it quick on this point. But I mean, in all fairness, Matthews is a free agent in 3 seasons. We need to have some reason for him to want to stay. And that only reason why players really want to continue to stay and burn their years of their career is if they have a chance to win. So let's win some games. And that's on him. That's on his line mates. It's on the whole darn team. But that's imperative. It's imperative playoff success this year. And all season, they've got to put in the work ethic to show that they're ready for it.
Well, that's enough about the North Division. How about we stretch over to the other ones? Who do you think are going to come out on top of the other divisions? Like, let's start with the Central Division.
All right, so starting with the Central Division, my man, I don't know. I'm thinking that's probably the division that is going to see the Tampa Bay Lightning coming out on top of. Like you've got a few teams in there that they're not looking with big, playoff hope or aspirations. You've got the Chicago Blackhawks, you've got the Detroit Red Wings. They're not probably going to be, huge threats out of there. Tampa and Nashville, you're going to see them fighting, and I bet you Dallas is going to have a pretty solid team too. I mean, look how they played in the bubble. They made it right. They made a pretty deep run into the playoffs, man. So no reason to see why they won't carry that through now too.
Yeah, I also have Tampa winning that division. It's they're going to feast on a few of those teams, man. Like you said, Chicago, Detroit, they're going to win a lot against those teams. How about the East Division? I have the Capitals winning that one. That's kind of my sleeper pick.
Yeah, it's going to be, with me, I'm going to see it going down between them and the Flyers, in all fairness. The Capitals, it's hard to see Ovechkin not taking a serious run there. But what's going to be fun in that division is 10 games of Ovi versus Crosby. I mean, I know they're in their 30s now, but you know what? I'll never forget when they played each other in the playoffs and they were trading hat tricks. It was unbelievable. So that could be a treat. I mean, I'm not going to be extremely intrigued by a lot of things, but that'll always be fun to watch. But Washington's coming out of the East, man.
And last but not least, how about the West Division? I think there are 3 teams already in the playoffs, and it's up to everyone else for that 4th spot. I think Colorado's going to win.
Can I guess? Can I guess your 3 teams?
Sure, right. Go ahead.
So I'm going to go with your 3 teams have got to be the Vegas Golden Knights, the St. Louis Blues, and the Colorado Avalanche. Now, who's your 4th team, my man?
I got the Wild.
Going with the Wild, eh? That's going to be tough to watch. I'm going to probably just go against you just for fun. I'm going to say that the LA Kings are going to have it. Actually, we're going to slide into the 4th playoff spot because Drew Doughty said so.
Okay. All right. Well, gotta trust what he says. So enough with the division talk in regular season. Who do you have winning the Stanley Cup this year?
Oh, it's tough not to say. We're going to see Nazem Kadri holding up a Stanley Cup. We're going to see it. It's going to be the Colorado Avalanche. I have a tough time not seeing it. Like, Nate McKinnon is playing out of this world, and he has the supporting cast to go with it. That is the few things that McDavid hasn't had, or Matthews hasn't had, and even Crosby to a different effect hasn't had that in the last year or two, I say Colorado is going to be a tough one to knock off the top of the mountain, man.
Yeah, I agree, man. I have Colorado going all the way and winning it all this year. They're just stacked, man. If they can get another goalie, they'll be runaway the best team in the NHL.
Do you know who I have them beating in the Stanley Cup final?
The Washington Capitals.
Oh. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know. I might be bleeding blue and white, man. I know. I've said they're soft. I know. I get it. But, dude, magic can happen, and it would be the year that there's nobody to attend a game or a parade. That would happen to the Leafs.
Yeah, I just can't in good conscience do it, man. Look at my background. Clearly, I'm a Leaf fan, but I just don't have the faith that they can do that. That's good that you think they're going to make it. They just need to show me, man. They need to win a round for me to have any kind of faith in them.
Man, I mean, I love trying to turn my radio to match my television feed, okay? Because I just have loved the duo that's on the air on the radio waves, all right? And I got to tell you, I'm going to draw up their names. I don't know if I'm allowed to. You got Jim Ralph and Joe Bowen. I mean, I think that they're the best complement pairing. I love listening to it. And can you imagine listening to both of them absolutely losing their lid to this playoff starved team? It
Man,
would be unreal. I get goosebumps thinking, man.
they would lose it if they win one round. Like, are you kidding me? They don't even have to go all the way, but it would be awesome. I can't argue with that.
Like, look at my eyes, man. I bleed blue and white. They
Yeah.
are blue and white.
I hear you, man. I can't have faith in it. Well, how about this? Like, so this is like a preview show. Have you stumbled across any good bets maybe for division winners or the Stanley Cup champions? Like anyone that's not necessarily a favorite, but someone you're like, I could see them winning, and maybe if I put a little bit of money on it, it might pay off.
Well, like honestly, if I were to sit here, if I were to pick a bet to go on for a Stanley Cup winner, I mean, you got the Philadelphia Flyers sitting at a plus 1,800, and I haven't talked about them making it to the Cup final. I get it, but if I were to sit here and try to make a couple bucks, that's where I'd probably want to put a couple dollars on, because you've got a player in Corey Hart that reminds me of a younger Carey Price, and he's got that kind of heart that can get there. And I'm not trying to make a pun there; it would be a little bit too lame to actually have done that on purpose. But seriously, like that guy, he's got international experience, and he's shown there. He showed what he could do on the big stage there. I think that Philly could be someone to put a few bucks on if you want to see them run real deep into the playoffs and maybe even hoist that cup. I hope not.
Well, hey, I think you're right though. That is a pretty solid bet. My sleeper pick this season has to be the Winnipeg Jets, man. To win the division, they're plus 611. To win the Stanley Cup, they're plus 4,000. And I definitely think they're at least the second or third best team in the division. Having them go to the Stanley Cup, just the way this year's playoff format works, why not them?
Yeah, Paul Maurice has that kind of a coaching ability to be able to get the most out of his players, And you know what? The more sound bites, the better out of that, man, because I love listening to that guy's post-game conferences, spotting dimes on the floor, picking them up. No, I know. Winnipeg could be a serious team, that's for sure.
All right. Well, moving on, I want to do a quick little segment called This Day in Hockey History. January 15th, 2016, Patrick Kane scored his first regular season hat trick. Do you know who that was against?
Who was that against?
The Toronto Maple Leafs in a 4-1 Chicago Blackhawks win at the Air Canada Centre for their 10th consecutive victory.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
It's something though, because Kane had at least scored 2 hat tricks in the playoffs, but that doesn't count as a regular season hat trick. I was gonna say Patrick Kane is the guy that Mitch Marner needs to mold his game after, man. Cause I think Patrick Kane is better than Marner, and he's always going to be better than him. But the hands and the vision, Marner could emulate that really, really well.
Yeah, no, I could see that, man. Marner's got all the skill set in the world. He might not be as thick as Kane is, but I'm with you, man. I think that it could be a serious comparable down the road. And I hope that it is. I mean, I hope that he keeps progressing like he is. Look at him on the PK already. He hustles. He blocks shots. He knows what it takes to try to win. And I mean, if he keeps putting in the work, putting in the time, yeah, I'm proud to see this guy in Toronto for the next 6 years.
All right. Well, last but not least, how about we preview this weekend's games for the Maple Leafs? It's a back-to-back against the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa. It's going to take a little while getting used to these baseball schedules, but I think they're going to be exciting. How do you think they're going to do against the Sens this weekend?
If the Toronto Maple Leafs end up with anything less than 4 points against the Ottawa Senators, I have to think that means let's go to the chalkboard. Boys, this wasn't a great weekend. We need to do better. No scraping it out. 4 points, that's the goal. Anything less, it's not mission accomplished on this 2-game mini set.
And you are a tough guy, man, to get happy. I think I'd be happy with a split, because I think the Senators are going to come out with a lot of piss and vinegar, man. They got some young players coming up. That Tim Stutzel guy is awesome. I saw him in the World Juniors this year. I think Tkachuk is really, really good too. They're up and coming, man. I don't think they're going to be an easy out. I think they're going to be the best last place divisional team in the whole league this year. All right, man. Well, I hope for the best this weekend with the 2 games. I really hope they win 2, but like I said, I'd be happy with just the 1. For all of you listeners and watchers out there, we're wanting to do this podcast twice a week. We're going to have another host on this show usually. His name is Jeff. He's going to join us as much as he can. Sometimes you'll get 3 of us. Sometimes you'll get only 2 of us. It could be any 2 of us at any time. I just hope you stick around to watch and listen to our show.
Awesome, guys. Go Leafs, go, guys.
Go Leafs, go, man. And let's hope October Freddy doesn't show up this year.
Well, you know what? I'm hoping you're right, buddy, because 10 games of a normal season. This one's not that normal season. We only got 56. It's like 20. Yeah. So, yeah, we might see some Jack Campbell a little more than we thought we would.
And that'd be all right by me. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Take care, guys.